I can claim 5 New Zealand generations, my children the 6th. It's tradition to recite your whakapapa when visiting a marae. When asked if I was Māori, I would reply, "Ko Ngāti Waiti taku iwi." Some would nod and say, "Ah, they're from up north, right?" Not getting the joke. My tribe is the Waiti. I remember once asking whether I was tangata whenua. That's the dark Welsh blood, my ancestors' people would say. You get your complexion and love of alcohol from them. I would nod my head, but I hadn't heard of them. I went to Wales. Everyone's white and hard to understand, but they do like to drink. Now I get the joke. How can you be certain of your lineage? The history you think you have may come from another's veins. A few home brews later and I just found out I might be dark. The first here had 3 wives. One of them was one of them. It wasn't the sort of thing that was talked about in those days, really. I remember my grandfather, the vigilante one, who got himself killed when I was young, always had a nice tan. That's the dark Welsh blood, they would say. My father also has a strange sense of humour. I get that from him. That is my whakapapa. Kia ora. Lineage is who you are. You don't exist with this amazing line of combination that goes back to whenever. And in Māori there's a word, it's called whakapapa. When I was a kid I used to just laugh at any of the whaka words. It's a WH, but it sounds like a naughty word, but it's a particle that makes a word a doing word, basically. So whakapapa, it means layers, but it's used to mean genealogy. And so when you, in Māori culture, if you're introducing yourself, you do they're called a pepeha. You introduce yourself, but you introduce where you fit in. And so you explain who your parents are and where you're from and where they're from and so on. Where's the mountain, where's the river. But despite just those basic scratchings at the past, do we really know anything? I remember when my maternal grandmother was alive, my nana, her hinting at a Spaniard basically slipping into the bloodline at some point, and this poem is exploring a different line there, and shy of having a DNA test in terms of bloodlines and so on the, I guess what we these days call racial side of things, you can't really be sure about things, right? And so I guess that's what this is about. You may think you know who you are and when you fit in, but what do we really know?